Welcome to a City Directory case study from the Lake County Public Library with reference librarian, me, Lynn Jackson. Today we will explore how to piece together parts of your ancestors' lives using city directories. City directories were created before phone books and contain lists of names and addresses of most adults and businesses in the town. You can also use a street view to see who lived in your ancestors' neighborhoods. You may even find other relatives living nearby. Directories often contain the names of a husband and wife, and in some cases include references to a deceased spouse. Most directories list a resident's occupation, employer, and even show if they owned or rented their own home. Directories contain information from the year previous to the date on the book. As an example, if you have a 1926 book in hand, you are actually looking at 1925. Data was collected similarly to the method used by the census takers, door-to-door, person-to-person contact. There could be some inconsistencies with the information if the informant was not the actual person, but let's say a neighbor. Directories confirm that your ancestors lived in a specific place and time between censuses. You can even map out the commute for your ancestor from their home to their job to see the distance. Was it close to home or would they need transportation? Each book is also a snapshot of the community, businesses, churches, and more. They are useful tools to build information about your ancestor and their lives. Where can I find city directories? The Lake County Public Library has many microfilmed and hardbound copies of Northwest Indiana directories. Some local phone books are also available starting in the late 1930s and 40s. In addition, check with the local library in the town or city you are researching. They may have what you need. Other places to find city directories for your research include Ancestry.com, Heritage Quest, Archive.org, and Google Books. Heritage Quest has numerous Hammond and Gary, Indiana directories to help with local research. Archive.org is a great place to look as well on the internet for city directories, as libraries around the country digitize their local history collections, making them available to everyone. So how do I access these subscription databases? Lake County Public Library cardholders with full access cards can log in from our library website, www.lcplin.org. Both databases are currently available from home. Ancestry.com may not be available, though, in the future. So let's start a project. If directories are available for the location you are researching, choose an ancestral couple or a person to research. Make a chart with a timeline format and record the years you search and chart the information you find. I chose my great-grandmother Lola Rextrew. She married Ernest Reynolds when she was 18. According to marriage license notices in Berrien, Michigan papers, they applied for marriage licenses twice but canceled each time. This started when she was 16. Here is her husband Ernest and my grandmother Margaret around 1920. In the case of Ernest and Lola Reynolds, I was fortunate enough to have access to many years of the Hammond, Indiana City Directory. I used Heritage Quest through the library. Make sure you open each book, don't totally rely on the indexing, and study what you find in each entry. There were 14 results for Ernest. I was even able to place Ernest in Benton Harbor, Berrien, Michigan in 1915. As you progress through the directories and record information, you should start to see patterns and begin to understand more about your ancestors. Did your ancestors move around a lot, or did they stay at the same address? Did they change occupations or jobs often? Were they able to buy their own home? Your chart will help you keep the years and facts straight and gain new insights. Insert other sources as well, such as addresses, occupations, pertinent life information taken from the census, newspaper clippings, employment records, and more. In 1917, I found that Lola and Ernest moved to Hammond, Indiana. Family lore says they came on a motorcycle from Michigan. Lola's brother Floyd also moved to Hammond. This was interesting because I always thought that Floyd lived solely in Michigan. I wonder why he moved there too. I found everyone still living in Hammond in 1920-1921. Even though I am finding Ernest and Lola together in the Hammond City Directories from 1921 to 1926, I found this marriage announcement for Ernest and his first wife, Ethel Young, in 1922 in Berrien County, Michigan. Something major happened. I can't find the 1922 marriage record in Michigan, nor divorce records, but in the years that follow, Ernest publishes notice in the classifieds that he is only responsible for his own debts. This can indicate a separation. I originally thought the separation occurred in the late 1920s, but as I reviewed more research, I believe it happened much sooner. Here is another section of my chart. I originally thought they divorced around 1927, but I now believe it happened much sooner. In 1926-25, Lola is still listed with Ernest, yet there is another Lola living in another residence, working as a machine operator at Kingley Shirt Company. By the 1928 directory, Lola is listed by herself at another residence. Lola applies for a marriage license in late 1928 and is remarried in 1929. I believe Lola may have met her second husband Ira through her new job listed here at a chain company. Here is page 3 of my chart. I was able to include information from a local employee record from the Pullman Standard Company for Ernest and added additional entries like his time working as a driver for the WPA, and it showed he had his own company selling ice and coal for a short time. And page 4 are facts leading up to the end of Ernest's life in 1949. Here's another picture of Ernest. What did I learn from this exercise? A lot, and it mostly showed a lot of instability, which can be substantiated through family oral history, newspaper articles, and our new chart information. Ernest and Lola did not have a harmonious relationship. It was very dramatic from the beginning. Ernest had multiple occupations, multiple employers, and liked working for himself. His brother-in-law moved to Hammond too as a protector for Lola or an economic opportunity, not sure. Our chart shows a potential time for separation and divorce. Ernest didn't own property for long periods of time. He did maintain a relationship with his daughter. She lived with him for a short time before marrying, and he lived with her towards the end of his life. Also, Lola was fairly independent and able to establish her own household and work, which is impressive for a woman of this era in the 1920s. DNA later showed that their daughter Margaret, born in 1920, was not Ernest's daughter. So the 1922 marriage to his first wife makes a little more sense. Charting what we found gives a clear picture of what happened during 2 decades of their lives. It even shows us other records we need to find, like marriages, divorces, and WPA records. We see a larger picture of their lives through small details by charting city directories and adding other research. Happy searching.